is basically when you take 2 or 3 different combo decks and you mash them all into one deck and then remove a cards here and there. This has so many ways to win out of nowhere. I'm not even gonna tell you. I have no idea like which turn is the earliest that we are actually gonna be able to go off here.
Yeah, Adam here, I think, is trying to shortcut his creatures. Let's make sure to tell the players in the future match area they do need to have their land creatures as lands. Otherwise, people at home will get confused. So right now, that Tangled Florahedron is on its land side. So Adam Wasburn-Moses is playing Belcher. And, normally Belcher plays no lands, only plays the double-face lands from Zendikar as a way to sort of cheat it. And that's Abundant Harvest here. This deck is a very interesting build of this, Julian, where it has, Belcher, which, as we're seeing flipped over here, but also has 1 Lotus Field. So Abundant Harvest actually finds the Lotus Field and puts it in your hand, which opens up other combos to the deck. The deck is also a Breach deck and a Wish deck and an Amulet deck. So it kind of does it all. It's sort of just like, oh yeah, every combo, like you mentioned, sort of Trade Binder-esque, and then puts it together. And there's only going to be 1 Lotus Field here. And I'm sure we will fix the Tangled Florahedron after we're done resolving this Abundant Harvest.
So on the other side of the board with Rain playing Hammer, what's the most common way that we actually get to disrupt Adam here on the Belcher deck? Because once a combo deck has like all these different angles that it can try to use to go off, is there one cohesive way that it does not want to be attacked on, or is it really like many different strategies that you all have to account for from Wayne's side?
So the main thing is that when we are doing this, it kind of depends on the type of deck. It looks like Rain here is playing mono white. So Mana Tithe is our only real option when it comes to hard permission. It looks like we're not playing that card this weekend. But the blue-white ones, the Spell Pierce, stuff like that, honestly, Rain's job is just to go as fast as possible against Adam. Adam's deck is really weak to cards like Counterspell, Blood Moon, Thoughtseize. These are the cards that are going to mess Adam up. But he could very easily win on turn 3 in lots of cases. So Rain here is going to have a lot of pressure on him to win the game. Rain also, by the way, playing some new cards from Lord of the Rings. We have Forge Anew as a 2-of in the main deck. That's the new card that allows you to equip for free once per turn and return an equipment from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's going to be a really spicy card. Post-board, things like Force of Vigor come in from Adam.
So would you say that Adam is going to be heavily favored in the first game, being a combo deck up against, well, in this case, an aggro deck without much permission at all? I guess there's Search of Salvation, but that wouldn't stop Thassa's Oracle, I guess. Does Search stop anything really relevant here other than, I guess, Belcher?
Yeah, not in game 1. It's going to be like that Belcher, I believe. And I does it give you hexproof from the Belcher? I'm actually a little unsure.
Hexproof until end of turn. You and permanents you control.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Sorry, that is there. I forgot it does that. I thought it was only red and black cards. Surge is such a strong card. But yeah, I think this is really a moment, Julian, where play draw matters a lot. I think if Rain had been on the play, we might have actually seen, Adam die before able to do his thing. This is also a spot where, Rain's not exactly sure what's going on, and Adam is always going to try and keep a hand that goes really fast in game 1. So a little bit of advantage when it comes to mulligan. Rain had double Esper Sentinel, typically very strong start to games, but one here that can be a little awkward as looks like Adam is sort of going through the motions real quick and has decided he can't go for the combo. He's going to pass the turn. Big draw for Rain here.
Yeah, still, from everything I've seen from Wayne's side here, this is not really a very aggressive opening. If we are relying on our Urza Sagas and our 2 1-drops to get in there and get over the finish line, that's not really something that Adam is very much concerned with, right? Urza Saga probably too slow in the first game to really get there. I guess next turn we're going to get the hammer down, but even then we won't be able to equip it unless we have some kind of trickery, which Wayne might very well have. But even then, Adam might not get another turn, right? If we manage to equip the hammer next turn.
Yeah, because it's really close. But it looks like we're going to Belcher with... Yeah.
Get enough mana? He needs 7 mana to go there.
Yeah, so you had the Twiddle untapped, and then we had floating mana, and we have Surge. Boom! Like you mentioned, gain Hexproof till in the turn. We got our 2 draws, and you see Adam kind of shaking his head like, how could this happen to me? And I got to check real quick here. Some players have been playing a lot of Surges in the main deck. We have 2, so we could actually maybe buy another turn. As you see, Adam hands and head, just trying to figure out what exactly to do here. Once again, those are lands next to Adam's Lotus Field. He is just not flipping them over yet.
I was wondering, could we have like waited until the next turn? Like, is it Twiddle? I always call it Twiddle. Twiddle.
Yeah.
In an instant, would we have been able to actually do that on Wayne's upkeep, or like in response? Well, even if he had tapped out for Saga, I guess there was still mana available.
Yeah, I think there's still mana. Also, I think from Adam's perspective, probably just like Surge is the only card that even does anything against me, right? And players have been playing 2 to 3 of them in the main deck, but like whatever, I'm just gonna do it now. Probably. Also, you know what? Actually, Adam had the mana floating. That was the reason he had to shoot right there. I'm sorry.
That's why to go for it anyway. Yeah.
And it's probably right just to go for it anyway. It's just less things that can go wrong. Speaking of going wrong, production. Get my hammer in the booth. Let's get Adam's lands fixed. I hate to do these things, but lands and DFCs. Yeah, tell the players. I hear production's on it. They're trying. Adam is a staunch defender, apparently. Won't flip the lands yet. But don't worry, chat. We're working on it. And, Rain here got Shadow Spear. Probably can't outgain the Belcher damage.
I mean, once you outgain the Belcher damage, you already killed your opponent.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't thought of that. You have such a way with words, Julian. I love it.
So, yeah, what we're trying to do here is ideally get a hammer down, but since we didn't even search for one, I guess we don't have a way to equip the hammers. So I think Adam is just going to untap and do it again.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Oh, there we go. We do see players getting in there, telling them you need to fix. Yeah. My life's so hard. I have to flip the cards. Oh, no. Oh, so woe is me, chat. Chat, I get an F in chat for Adam there. No one has it harder than Adam, chat. He's going to activate his Belcher and probably win again. Yeah. Chat, I get an F for Adam. That way when he watches the VOD, he knows. Thank you, chat. Thank you so much. As we do see, we're going to activate Wish here. Might be wishing first. There might be some permission spell or something like that can stop a second Surge of Salvation. As we are going to activate it. And we have Horizon Canopy in place, so we can pop and find it if we don't have it already. Did we rip it? And
okay,
yeah, he's just going to show him like, hey, I've got, no other
just take a look at my deck.
Yeah. Take a look, double check for me. Adam knows that there's one Lotus Field deck.
If this is your first tournament and you see your opponent casting like Goblin Charbelcher and activating it, and all of a sudden they literally just hand you the deck, what do you think? Like, what?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, for sure. And
then they're like, do you want to write down anything? Like, no, I want you to resolve this. Oh no, this is
okay. No, whatever. That's my deck list. You get to see it as we see Adam's sideboard here, starting things off. And Adam does have some cards for this matchup, Julian. We have Force of Vigor. That's kind of the de facto beats hammer. They can fight through it now, as we've seen Surge of Salvation, but also the Surges are at a premium in this matchup, as we saw in game number 1. They can buy you a turn with Belcher. We have a couple other things like Nature's Claim. That's going to be pretty good. We could see Slaughter Pact, although that might stay in as a wish target. But there's, just some cool cards here in Adam's sideboard.
So from looking at it, we can basically grab anything with the wish, right? D&D All-Star, one of the most powerful spells in D&D. Love that. There's extra copies of Lotus Field that if you want to go for that. Is there anything that you are scared of? Like looking at the mono white hammer deck for a change, is there anything that Wayne might be able to bring in completely crush your deck? Because it always feels like when you get these like multiple combo decks in once, all of a sudden they might knock out like the chair from under you, and you like have all these unusable cards. Like let's say for example Blood Moon. That's not something we see from mono white hammer, but I'm just like trying to feel like, is there anything that destroys us? Because I want to destroy combo decks. Here we are. I said it.
They can't see, but I see your pen and paper up and ready to go like you're a reporter. Like, Mason, what should I be buying from nerdragegaming.com in order to win this game here? And I think the main thing that Rain has is Pithing Needle. That's a card that will stop the Belcher half of the deck. It won't stop the Tome Scour, Breach, Kill You combo. But Pithing Needle is sort of our one card that we can bring in to stop at least half the combo. We then have Surge of Salvation. We saw that in game 1, buy us a good amount of time. Other than that, you could have March of Otherworldly Light as a way to kill a Belcher. Sometimes, players will play Belcher Raw Dog and then just wait to activate on the turn because that's the way the mana lines up. I think with this deck, that happens a little bit less than normal, but it's still a line that we might just see March come in because of that. And then we do have the Mana Tides. They are in the sideboard. So that is, counter unless you pay 1. And we saw Adam sort of exactly went for the combo here. Even if it doesn't stop Adam from killing on like the following turn, it might buy a turn and be a Surge of Salvation light card. So I think we're gonna have that, but also I think we're just gonna see Rain mulligan a lot this game. Just try and get the actual combo kill with what's going on in our deck and win the game. There are a couple other weird hate cards, but nothing that does too much.
So Travis is actually asking whether Draenith Megastrat can have any kind of impact here. Because of Wish, right? You cast the card.
No, you're 100%. Yeah, it says you may play a card from outside the game. I'm sorry, I thought it was like a normal Wish and went to your hand. So Draenith Magistrate actually will be pretty good against Wish, which prevents a lot of the extra hate from coming in there.
That's deep. I wouldn't have thought about that. So shout outs to who has a Doom make in chat. Thank you for that.
Yeah, shout out to Doom. We'll see you in a couple rounds, buddy. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like Wishes typically put the cards in your hand. I know you know Legacy. I think of like, Burning Wish, Cunning Wish, etc. They put them in your hand, but not here.
Yeah, this is somewhat different than basically anything we've ever seen before. Like even I think there was a card called Ring of Maroof, which was like one of the very first Wish-S cards. If we gonna I don't even know if we can show that on screen. The card is so old. Maybe all the ancient scrolls have
when
been
people
lost.
Talk about the One Ring, that's what they used to mean.
And here after sideboarding, from everything I've seen now, I'm not too positive that the matchup improves all that much for Wayne. Like you already mentioned that he's going to heavily probably mulligan or ideally have it in his opening hand. Any kind of interaction. Nope, sending it back right now. And I think the second thing that you can like basically do a trade-off against is like a really quick kill. Like I've been killed by Hammer on, have I actually been killed by Hammer on turn 2? I think so. I'm pretty positive. That can happen.
It can happen, yeah. It normally involves like 0-drop aid into double hammer. And that's a real draw of this deck. Being able to win on turn 2, turn 3, that sort of stuff is very appealing in any format, right? But especially modern. And this deck does that while playing a real game. You can go 9, 10 turns easily with Urza Saga and deck. So this deck is one of the premium decks in modern. Even if it's at a little bit of a low right now, a lot of the metagame like Rhinos, Creativity have been sort of pushing this down to the deck. But in the other matchups, it's going to be a real heater.
Yeah, if basically if we are Wayne and we are like drawing our cards here and we're looking at something like a turn 3 kill without any kind of protection, I guess we have to keep it, even though if Adam, you already mentioned the All-Star Force of Vigor, that could completely blow us out. But I keep mentioning this on every podcast in German. We say you have to pick which way you want to die. You have to pick your own death. Like we have to lose to something, right? We can't be safe against anything. And Wayne, we're going to see whether it's going to be a quick kill or actually a bunch of disruption as we go for Stoneforge here too. Are we going to pick up another Colossal Hammer?
Probably. So one thing to note, Julian, is on turn 1, we led with Urza Saga, which implies to me we probably have something in hand that can equip a hammer. And so we led with that. Either that where it was our only land, and we ended up drawing the plains, which I doubt we would keep on a six card hand here from Wayne.
So you're expecting something like, I don't know, like Sigara's 8 or something, so we would be able to like get it down here and attack on the next turn?
Pure Steel Paladin, or the new card Forge Anew. It's the 3-mana enchantment that we talked quickly about last game, as we do see Amulet of Vigor come down here. Adam decided to play Amulet after the land. Technically could have played it first to untap the dual land, but didn't have anything he wanted to do with the mana, so just thought, why not? I'll just play it. As we're going to see a mana floated here. And we do have
you're right. Like Sigara's 8 is not going to do it, right? Because we're getting the Colossus Hammer right now, and Sigara comes on later. Yeah. Pure Steel Paladin. That we. Oh, Ginger Brute. Okay.
All right. I wonder if we just have a hand that's like some mana tides and stuff, and we're just going to put Cauldron in now and just like try and surge and mana tides, because it's possible he doesn't know all the other combos. He might just think it's all in on Belcher, even after looking at the deck, right? He might be like, oh, some of these cards, like you don't realize all the implications. It's a very weird deck. As we are just going to attack and not put in the Cauldron.
No, if I'm on Adam's side, I would expect some of the hardest hitting reactive hate that like Wizards ever created, if this is the hand that Wayne kept.
Yeah, I agree. That's we're talking about round 1, right? Everything our players do and don't do really tells us a story. And there's a story going on right now of like, okay, what is Wayne doing? Like he's sort of led this awkward start. He's doing this. Clearly he feels safe enough to have this happen. What is going on? And Adam is thinking about that right now and going to figure out if he can kill this turn, sort of try and figure out what exactly the hate is. Because, he knows it's only mono white, but what is there that could be the cards he is choosing to play? Because we also didn't see Pithing Needle get grabbed off the Urza Saga.
Yeah, and also not played from hand, so it's literally like not in the picture right now. And as you mentioned, Adam is figuring out whether he can kill, while also figuring out whether he should kill, because right now Wayne is not really threatening anything, even if he gets in for more damage next turn. And yeah, Adam recrosses the path. Basically lets you like reorder your deck, right? Is that how it worked? It's been a while since I've cast that card.
Yeah, so Recross the Path is basically Adam's going to reorder his deck in any way he wants. And then I think it also gets revealed to your opponent. Yeah, you reveal cards until you hit a land. And so since Adam doesn't have any lands left in deck because Lotus Field's in play already, he gets to reorder his deck any way he wants. And then they're going to clash. And then basically Adam's going to know what he's going to draw for the rest of the game.
This is the ultimate tutor, man.
Yeah.
This is you know how we have like, I don't know, Vampiric Tutor and Mystic Tutor and all of these. This is literally deck tutor all the way down.
Yeah, this is like that meme. It's like, you know, demonic tutor is you, and then it's like the guy that she tells you not to worry about, and it's Recross the Paths.
like a weird 3-mana sorcery from Morningtide.
Yeah, it's like, no, babe, it's just a sorcery. It's nothing like that, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at the card and people didn't know anything about like tournament magic. They would be like, wait, this is your combo enabler. Actually, what is Adam trying to put on top here? Like, what's the sequence of cards that I would guess that he has figured out beforehand? Yeah, otherwise, it's going to take forever.
Yeah, I assume Adam was like, okay, if Recross gets countered, I'll go for this. If it doesn't get countered or interacted with, I'll go for this instead, like a cards from hand. And so I think he's just right now double checking everything. This is one of the awkward parts about Recross the Paths, is that it takes a while. And so you're seeing Adam here is setting up kind of a Manamorphose into some Twiddles, into some more Manamorphoses. And it's just going to draw a bunch of cards, make a bunch of mana, and might end up just going for a kill that doesn't involve Goblin Charbelcher. I know Adam does have Belcher in hand. I saw that at the beginning of the game. And he's going to win the clash. Surge Salvation is on top.
Ooh.
And yeah,
no
and Adam reminds me he has a chance to put that on bottom if he wants.
Okay, we're gonna Manamorphose, keep the mana that way, I guess. Okay. Yeah. So lucky. Look at this double Manamorphose.
This guy just always has it. I do not understand.
Yeah, too lucky. Same with Doomsday players.
Yeah, true. We see some of those tomorrows. We do see Viscera Seer untapping the lands. And you see, this is what's happening here is we set up a bunch of Viscera Seers. We're making +1 mana. If you play Pioneer, you know this from the Lotus Field combo there.
And eventually, is this going to be like the wish into, let's say, I don't know, Thassa's Oracle or something like Underworld Breach? Get there? Like, what are we playing towards right now? Ideas Unbound, love the card.
Yeah, so we drew Ideas Unbound. So that's a draw 3 and you have to discard at the end of the turn. So now we're just generating extra mana. So now we have like Dream Scraps and Twiddle and stuff like that, which will untap or tap a permanent. We're going to untap our Lotus Field. And I think Adam is probably going to go for the Breach kill and just actually try to not walk into the card Surge of Salvation. Although he might just have enough mana to do it all. It's unclear to me exactly how much like he's going here. It looks like he is checking out his... Oh, he's grabbing the red mana. Okay, I thought he was getting a sideboard. So it does look like we're going to play a red card.
Did you just see Wayne like a moment ago? He was literally just staring into the feature match camera like he was staring into our eyes. And be like, you guys seeing this?
Yeah, he's like, why did you pick this match? And the answer is, Adam had a cool deck.
I brought creatures and equipment, and like, you're doing this to me, the guy who's only playing like one land?
Yeah. As we are going to see Wish here for Underworld Breach. So now Adam's going to get to do all the non-Vizier Remedy cards again, which means we're going to be up a bunch of mana once again. And we do have to escape 3, so there is like a half-life to this. We can't go forever like you see maybe in the Grinding Breach deck, which is our backup feature match. We have Jesse Ropkin with Breach with the 1 Ring Julian. And the way this turn's going, I think we might be seeing Jesse a little sooner than later.
So for our audience, do you like quickly want to finish this turn? So I saw in the early round somebody was actually wondering how the deck wins because it was all of a sudden. So is this gonna be the Thassa's Oracle?
I think this is gonna be a Thassa's Oracle situation. So Adam is going to wish and go through his deck. I mean, he's gonna cast Manamorphose and he's gonna like continue to like just move forward. He has the win sort of stacked up on because he knows the order of his deck, right, Chad? That's why it took us 2 minutes here. I don't know if we can Oracle yet because, okay, yeah, so we have Tome Scour. So that's how this one's going to win. So the way Tome Scour works is we're going to mill ourselves for 5, and then we're going to get rid of 3 cards, do it again. So we're up 2 cards in the graveyard. With the amount of Twiddles and everything we have, we will eventually run out of cards in deck, and then we'll cast Thassa's Oracle. And it's a little weird, so we might see Adam, need to play through it because it looks a little awkward. Like, do you have enough mana to do this all? Because it's intensive. But Matt Nass's Giga Brain figured it out, and we are going to see Wayne here concede. Adam Wasburn-Moses wins this round. Did have the Surge Salvation. Yeah, he was ready for the Belcher kill, but Adam saw that coming.
Try to do
this here, and we're going to try and get a quick interview with Adam. But if we can't, then we are going to just go watch Jesse Robkin there. But yeah, that this deck is really cool, Julian, and it really shows Modern's underexplored, right? Modern's probably the most played competitive format. There's so much content, so many streamers all the time, and this deck is just came out of nowhere 2 weeks ago, and we're seeing it already dominate here on the NRG series.
That's why I would love to see like a lot more Modern on the Pro Tour and everywhere again. Like, as you mentioned, the format is certainly underexplored, especially with the new cards coming in. There's so many cards coming in, and if we don't get the interview right now, as you mentioned, we're gonna skip to Jesse playing a Breach deck. But yeah, we're just hearing the interview is coming up now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes players don't want to do the interview, or they got stuff going on, blah, blah, and we want to make sure that we can facilitate them. So it looks like Adam will be on here in just a second. He's packing up his bag, coming over here, and we're going to see him. But yeah, after this round, don't worry, there's going to be more Magic play this round. We have Jesse Robkin on our time-shifted feature match. I believe Jesse is playing against, I want to say Scales, but that feels wrong as I was saying it. It is wrong. It's Teamer Midrange.
Yeah. Arigally, Teamer Midrange. That's another one of those cards. That's another one of those decks that I never really know how to play against. Like, yeah, especially the Modern mid-range decks, they're so hard to tackle. Like, and everybody knows about one of the most fundamental concepts in Magic, like who's the beatdown. And when I'm up against one of these Modern mid-range decks, I always feel like, am I supposed to be the beatdown? Is this supposed to be like the control deck? I don't know. And at that point, you really only get there once you start grinding out those matches.
100%. Yeah, and the games go so back and forth in Modern, like we saw in round 1, right? And so it looks like Adam is ready. We're going to go on down that. But yeah, like round 1, it goes back and forth. Who's the beatdown here? Adam, congratulations on your round 2 win. How you feeling, buddy?
I can't hear anything.
Adam can't hear anything.
Does anybody know sign language?
A little charade. So first word, 2 syllables.
Actually, I'm not even sure if Adam can actually see us.
Yeah, I don't think he can either.
Should I just make up questions that I think you're going to ask me? And then I'll just answer them?
Oh, a true professional.
Let's go back to the feature match area. I'm sorry, to the booth here real quick. Let's talk to us for a second. We're going to have a moment here. If we can't get that fixed, we're going to assume Adam says something along the lines of like, I hate you for making me flip my lands over, Mason. Why do you bully me? And then, he'll say how great his deck is. I think if Adam can't hear us, let's just skip the interview. Congratulations, Adam, on winning, but we are trying to fix that real quick here. Looks like, it might have been a situation where, Adam, if you can hear me, give me a little thumbs up, buddy. All right, we're going to go and see Adam real quick. So, okay, Adam, congratulations on your round 2 win. We're back to the beats here.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to pick this deck? So, I know you're an Amulet lover. It has Amulet in it, but how'd you end up here?
Oh, so the card Amulet had nothing to do with it. I told a friend, his name is Addy Slimak, shout out, hand me a 75 this weekend. I don't really want to play very much Modern. Hand me a 75 that you think can maybe win matches, and I'll play it. And so he saw Matt Nass top 8'd the challenge, or made the finals, I think, with this deck. And then here we are.
Nice. Awesome. Well, so have you played any of this deck before? Or have you just been playing it just these first 2 rounds? An impressive start here, 2-0 with a deck that's kind of complicated.
No, I was going to play my deck on 0 reps, but then the deck was really convoluted, and so I played like 50 matches with it on Magic Online or something.
Just you say 50?
50, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess at that point, that already makes you like almost an expert, right?
The leagues don't take very long because it's a lot faster to stack your deck on Magic Online than it is in paper. And so figuring out how to do that in paper has actually been kind of a trip.
I was wondering, like, is it almost always going to be the same kind of stack that you make with Recross the Paths, or is it like quite different every time?
A lot of the cards are similar because you're basically always going to get Vizier, but sometimes Recross, you have to like cast Recross to get Lotus Field into play, and then you don't get to stack your deck. And so it's a kind of a modal card. But a lot of the piles look very similar. You just like want to make them so you have various kills. Sometimes you want to go for Belcher, and sometimes you want to go for the Underworld Breach, like I did in that last game to play around the Surge. But like if my opponent's playing Leyline Binding, then I want to go for the Belcher kill instead.
Yeah, that actually makes me wonder as well. In the first game, did you see the Surge of Salvation coming? Like, or was it completely
No,
not
I saw it coming, and I considered casting Recross to set up the Underworld Breach kill, but I didn't really want them drawing cards towards hammering me. I don't even, like, I didn't see any hammers, but I assume that's what they're playing?
Spoilers, they were playing hammer. They just didn't have this game.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, I could do it, but it would let them draw 2 extra cards and would set up a kill, like, pretty far in advance, and so I was worried about me dying on the next turn.
Makes sense.
Play around 2 Surge instead of 4 hammers, and there's even more than 4 hammers. It makes a lot of sense to me. Are you excited to play Legacy tomorrow? I know you're a big Legacy fan. We've seen you dominate our Legacy series events here. Are you excited for tomorrow? Do you have any Lord of the Rings spice you're willing to let in on the chat?
I am thrilled to be playing Legacy. Unfortunately, I'm not really playing any new cards. I am playing lands, which is, like, all old cards. But you don't really get hurt by Bowmasters, and One Ring is, like, not great against you, which is pretty relevant, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, you managed to find one of the decks that's not going to be affected by Bowmaster at all, I guess.
In theory, like, Sylvan Library does, but also if you dredge instead of your draws, it also doesn't count towards Bowmaster, because it's only the first draw you take in your draw step, and Sylvan Library affects your draw step. It's a whole thing, yeah.
Sure. That's very funny. That is exciting. I can't wait to see that tomorrow. So I'm sure we're going to see more of you tomorrow, as you do normally dominate our Legacy events. So we'll be seeing you in the Future Match area tomorrow. And for today, Adam, go enjoy the rest of your round. We're going to go watch some more Magic right now. Thank you for taking some time to do the interview with us.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
Yes, and thank you, Adam, for taking that time to talk to us like we had just said there. But we are going to do our time-shifted match. We have Jessie Robkin on Jeskai Breach for the deck she's known for here on the series, how she ended up getting second place in our series event last year, versus Eric here on Temur Midrange. And this deck is spicy. You know, you mentioned it, and I started looking at it. It's got Renin 6, Ragavan, Subtlety, Fury, Dress Down, Counterspell, a lot of really cool cards. Kind of a Temur box deck.
Yeah, I was going to say, it almost feels like Chunt. Like, you got a lot of good stuff, but I guess you have the control. Yeah, you've got the 6 counterspells in there to have some kind of control over the stack. But from what I would guess, Ela is probably going to try to really get that Ragavan down, right? Because all of the other creatures, they don't really present, like, any kind of big beatdown. And first time on the stream today, the Monkey All-Star Ragavan comes down.
Yeah, somehow we made it through all this round of Magic without hitting Ragavan. And Jesse's like, no, not here. Unholy Heat that, get out of the way. And chat, just so we are clear, Jesse's deck has the One Ring in it. This is going to be our first showing of it. We'll see if it comes up in these games or not. But she's a really big believer of that. And Julian, it seems really good in this deck. If you have Imri and Grinding Station, you can just draw a card, get protection, sack it, mill your opponent, buy back the ring, go again, and just present another combo kill. But it's not only is it a value card, it's a combo kill card.
This is how Tolkien intended Lord of the Rings to be told, right? You keep putting on the One Ring over and over again until your opponent dies to a Merfolk.
Yeah, it's also kind of cool that, you know, Imri of the Lake, or the Loch, is kind of, you know, the Lady of the Lake from King Arthur's story. And so, you know, kind of have like a cross universes of going on here. Really, universes beyond deck from Jesse Robkin here.
So overall, would you say that Jesse's favored here? I always have like a lot of respect for Breach, especially like when somebody's playing it and has like shown proficiency with the deck. I would be terrified to play against Breach in Jesse's hand.
Yeah, I think these sort of fair mid-range matchups are some of the decks that the Jeskai combo Breach deck is really good against. And so, you know, Jesse's deck pretty good against like the pile decks like 4-color, etc. And this deck sort of harkens to that. And so while, you know, Eric's deck here is sort of a unique one in a brew, I would say in a lot of ways, just looking at the pieces, I do think Jesse is a little bit favored, but those unique card choices might actually go the distance here, as we're going to see an Ursaga and a Passing of the Turn.
Yeah, like Jesse, right? Like from everything, Elias, is it Eric? No, it's Eli. Eli has presented
Eli
here.
Eric, I believe. Yeah.
Eli Eric, yeah, has presented here. Like Jesse can actually just sit back, you know, and try to leverage the constructs. Like we're gonna have a bunch of constructs, a bunch of angry robots hitting the board very soon, and Eli has to find a way around that, because you're not gonna get them with just like, I guess, Ice Fang Hodls and well, we got 3 copies of Brazen Borrower, but even then, I mean, not exactly the kind of exchange you want to make. And yeah, we draw an extra card. We get one of our snakes down. And yeah, Jesse just like sitting there chilling, gonna make a robot at the end of turn, and Eli looks a little bit more stressed, I want to say. Like,
yeah, it might be missing on land or something, but also these just look at we have Ren 6. Okay, I was gonna say that's the way to get us out of these sort of situations. Looks like Jesse's hand, by the way, is an expressive iteration to Fairy Time Reveler and something else. These, like you mentioned though, really quick here, Julian, the Urza Saga is going to cause a lot of pressure, and that's kind of how we see these Urza Saga decks last a long time against decks that have much better card advantage, right? Jesse does have cards like expressive iterations, or that kind of has the ultimate in game, but this Urza Saga can really overwhelm people, as we see Jesse, thinking about, does she want to activate a contract with this one or float mana and do other plays?
yeah, I absolutely love Urza Saga. I want to say it's probably my favorite card ever printed in the last 10 years. It's super exciting. It also gives you this like, I think it's also fair. Like, it eats up a lot of your mana in exchange for like putting on pressure and sometimes getting card advantage. And Eli, what are we trying to do here in response to the construct? I guess we're just fetching so we don't get Pithing Needled on our fetch land.
Yeah, I think it's just I'm really scared of getting Pithing Needles and I need my lands moment. As it does look like Springleaf Drum's going to come. Yeah, if Jesse has another land, we have another robot coming. And these robots get big.
Yeah. Is there any movie that's famous for like a couple of robots? I was wondering. We got a million troops ready, another million in production. Star Wars, here we go. Found it.
Oh, Star Wars, sure. I was thinking of iRobot when they had all the like robots ready to go.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I want to get some alterations that way.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, and those robots are already way out of 1 and 6 range, so that's not a problem for us. Could still get killed eventually by the Ice Fang Total, but right now I guess that's just going to be the trade we make. Actually, yeah,
we can make another robot if we don't block.
Yeah, and looks like, is that what's happening?
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Is we said no blocks, and Jesse immediately fetches, going to use the Springleaf Drum plus our new land in order to make another robot 4/4, knock down the Ren 6 here. But like you mentioned, we do have 3 Brazen Borrowers in Eli's deck here. So,
I was just wondering whether we actually want to go to the face here and try to deal damage to Eli, because I think the Ren 6, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Ren 6 isn't that relevant. I mean, the emblem is certainly something we have to worry about big time. But other than that, just like try to get there with the damage that we have on the board could also be something. But yeah, Jesse choosing, well, I guess safe path of just getting rid of the Planeswalker here.
Yeah, I think Jesse is setting up almost lethal on the next turn, right? Because right now we have 3 4/4s. We're going to turn them into 5/5s with the activation, then 6/6 on the search. That's already lethal. And so I think she's just like, well, it looks like, by the way, it's Eric. We have the name backwards. I checked with production. So we have the name backwards here. We'll fix that on time shift if we can. Maybe we can't. Who knows? But Eric here, I think, is just like, well, I might have a spot removal spell for this Coatl. I'll just kill the Ren 6. Looks like you relied on lands and make your life awkward, because I'm sure Jesse doesn't have a great idea of what's going on. These are not, the cards that are typically played together, especially the double snow cover island. Maybe Jesse might have thought it's 4-color control before the second snow cover, but now she's definitely like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm playing against.
That's a good point. And at this point, Eric needs a bunch of cards. Like, I guess you can jump block here with the Ragavan at some point, but as you mentioned, the robots are quickly growing out of control. So unless you can chain together a couple of Ice Fang Totals, which would be something to start with, right? We're basically still kind of trading against one half of the Urza Saga, but at least you got to draw a card of that. But Jesse, super, super angry, going just like for the tempo kill. Like, we can bounce the Dragaban. We can guarantee that at least like 2 of our constructs are going to get in for a bunch of damage. I like that. And all of a sudden, while still like drawing a card every turn and building towards a potential Underworld Breach kill at some point.
Yeah, and that's the thing too about Jesse's deck, right? Is she has multiple combo kills, as we've talked about today, and she has played out just like a Jeskai interactive deck, and that's sort of been her strength, as we're seeing her use floating mana, and it's going to cast Breach, and she might just have the combo lined up, and that's why she didn't want to make the construct. Is she's like, well, make Eric have the interaction, as he does, so like Eric has Counterspell.
Yeah, the more Eric taps down, the more likely, or the less likely it is that he's going to have some other kind of interaction. Because, of course, you don't really want to send in like all of your constructs if one of them gets bounced and the other one dies to Ice Fang Total, and then maybe Eric just like takes the damage and then cracks back with the Ragavan. But here, this is the Fairy could be a pretty big thing. Eric fetching right away, which of course like signals Counterspell.
Yeah, and it looks like Eric might be just double checking. He maybe has a card like Ice Fang Coatl that he's wanting to play instead and just be like, whatever, or disregard this. I don't have any more counter spells.
Dress down.
Yeah, or dress down would be huge. That's a great point. There's 2 of those in the main deck. Oh, there's 3 of those.
3 copies.
Increasing by the second. Yeah, I went from 0 a second ago to 3 now. Oh my goodness.
With a couple more minutes, it's going to be 5.
Yeah, Robkin's really hoping for the 5. That's actually part of their plan. Yeah,
that's going to be pretty tough. How many cards does Jesse still have in hand? Like 2 or 3
2?
or something?
Yeah, one is Expressive Iteration. Yeah, look at Jessie with the smile there. She's like, okay, so my opponent's deck is Counterspell, Coatl, Ragavan. I don't know what else is going on, but I know those are the cards in the deck. They're going to see a crunch in here for 4.
Is it 5, actually?
5. Oh, yeah, the 5. Thank you so much. Yeah, I missed the spell bomb.
No, yeah. Making sure to count for the fetch.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to figure out what the life total is.
Yeah. And this happens all the time at events chat, right? Like you're just playing and you shortcut something and you're like, oh, I didn't mark it, or, did really wrong. Kind of awkward, but it comes up. Do you know what Hannah Montana said, Julian?
No. I barely know who that is.
Yeah,
okay, I can identify with that. I can certainly. I don't know Hannah Montana very well. Yeah, I can sign up for that. I do it all the time.
You know Rhinos, I know Hannah Montana. Together, there's nothing we can't do.
Okay, here we go. Expressive Duration, refueling on Jesse's side. And from everything we've seen thus far, she's just like winning on board, right? Eric sitting on a lot of cards, we basically can conclude that none of them are dressed down, because that certainly would have hit the board by now. So Jesse can just like go into the red zone and try to win the game that way. I mean, there's some kind of consideration, I guess, of not wanting Ragavan to connect, but we'll see how she handles that.
Yeah, we saw it last turn. She left 1 creature back on D to protect against the Ragavan. And I think, as long as, like you mentioned, these are 4/4 Saga constructs, so we're dodging Lightning Bolt right now. So I think Jesse's just trying to make sure, like, okay, once again, I don't know what Eric has in his deck. I'm just going to do my best to play this fair game and not get got here. And if I stumble into the combo, I stumble into the combo. Yeah, as we've seen, attack here for 6.
So other than dress down, what is Eric actually looking for here? Like, I don't know, like a Hardcast Fury or something?
Hardcast Fury at least blocks now.
I think
more Ice Fang Coatl. Yeah, which is impressive. I think Ice Fang Coatl would be a strong one here. If you can't have dress down, that would basically be Doomblade draw a card. We also can be looking for Expressive Iteration to gas back up. Brazen Borrower be really nice here. Although we do have Grinding Station now, so if we try to Borrower, we will probably lose the actual Borrower since the target will die. But yeah, it looks like Eric just took 5 damage or 6 damage. Sorry, is untapping down to 5 life.
That's gonna be tough. Like, seeing that there's nothing really on the main phase, he once again has to rely on anything he can cast on Jesse's turn, and Jesse's slowly building up to, just like Underworld Breach once again being probably like lethal on the spot. So I don't want to be in Eric's spot. It's once again that thing where you have to respect the combo while also losing to the beatdown. And eventually something's got to give, right? You eventually have to commit to, I'm just going to ignore the combo, or I don't know, I'm going to throw everything I have at the creatures and hope to get that way. But right now, it doesn't really feel like Eric's deck has provided him with the tools that he needs to come out of this.
100%. Yeah, as we do see double bobble, that's going to make our constructs even bigger. Another outside of Unholy Heat ranges, we see a dashed Ragavan, and I think we have 2 lethal attackers and a Ragavan. So Eric's going to need something like dress down here. Yeah, or it could maybe quality. It doesn't look like we're going to go into game number 2 here. Let's look at Eric's sideboard here, because this is the cool, exciting deck here.
Okay. So once again, we see the engineered explosives that you mentioned earlier on. Chandra touch of like this is almost like a modern all-star sideboard once again. Is there anything that jumps out at you as like, we need this?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, like we talked about, the deck sort of presents a 2-prong attack here. Endurance is like a card you can bring in that was pretty good against Emery, pretty good against Breach, not so great against the other stuff. Cloth is kind of a similar thing. Sort of, if the game gets grindy and long, it's a way to generate extra damage, gain a little life back. That can be kind of good. Spell Pierce is something you can have if you want to try and fight over the early cards. My sort of inclination is I want to have EE. That's a really good way to sort of blow up the combo. You can put EE on 2 and then, pop the Breach, kill the Grinding Station. But you can also play it on 0 if you get Urza Saga out. Even though I think we're pretty good there. And I think we probably do want some of the Endurances and then Relic of Progenitus. Classic sort of, going to shrink the graveyard, much like Endurance, and can be a cantrip.
Anything you want to take out? Or rather, yeah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to taking out Lightning Bolt's going to be sort of pretty high on the list, as is Counterspell and Force Negation. Lightning Bolt at least hits Ragavan, but things get a little awkward there for Eric.
Yeah, cool. And what is Jesse going to do? Like, Jesse, decklist looks pretty stock from everything I see here. Is there anything in the sideboard that you might want to bring in to... Like, Jesse didn't really learn all that much. Like, it literally looks like a good stuff mid-range deck on Eric's side, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to be sort of Jesse's guiding light going here into game 2 and 3. She's not sure what's going on, but she thinks it's a good stuff mid-range deck. So cards like Teferi Time Raveler are pretty good. We saw a bunch of counter spells. We saw a bunch of flash creatures. So we could easily imagine that coming in. And we might see something like a Prismatic Ending, be upgraded from our Lightning Bolt. We currently have 1 Bolt main deck. Ending can hit hit Ren 6 or, hit anything else that we might be coming down from the opponent like a Ragavan. So that might be a spot where we're getting what we like to call a minor upgrade. And I think that's about it. She still has these One Rings in her deck, which we didn't see there, which are going to really I'm not sure how Eric's deck keeps up with that value, but this is a time-shifted match. I think we can jump back into the feature area. I'm curious to see what's happening here as the players are shuffling up and already playing. We got a turn 1 Triumph from Eric, and then Jesse played a Ragavan. Pretty good start to the game, old Ragavan.
Could actually be the first time a Ragavan actually gets to attack on screen. Like last game, we had a Ragavan down. No. Once again, Ragavan is to sit back and try another day. And just pass the turn.
Yeah, Eric here, it looks like it's on a mulligan and had to keep a 1-lander with a bolt. Jesse here just having some lands and saying go.
Oh, I sense a theme here. Like the player on the right, always like having mana travels.
Yeah.
Make sure to sit down on the other side of the board right now. No, Jesse just like developing here. You see that smile on her face?
Yeah. She's like, great. My opponent doesn't do anything. I get to play lands go. It's like Commander, no rush, no damage till turn 4,
Yeah, StarCraft, no rush, 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Zerglings, you're cringing. Come on.
We're building up the carriers here. Oh, Jesse's loving life right now. Like, just you get to do that. This is basically like we start the game, but I have 4 lands in play, and now you get your first turn.
Yeah, and also for Jesse, she just kind of like there's no pressure for her to do anything, and I'm hopefully this is a 1 ring for the fans. We just get it down. Someone's got
Oh no, it's 3 mana. Close enough. Oh my god. But she's setting up for the 1 ring. She wants to make sure that the 1 ring resolves, right? That's what we're doing.
True. Yeah. It's her precious. She's got to protect it. As Eric did draw the land. If we have Ren 6 in hand, we're at least going to fix for the rest of the game, but looks like nothing going on here.
Is this going to be the ring now? No, Dash Ragavan. I mean, that's close enough.
Yeah, it looks like Eric's going to fetch. Might be grabbing like a Triumph or something out of the deck. I don't think there's any channeling cards that can stop Ragavan here, but yeah, it looks like just want to make sure we have our mana for the rest of the game. Don't want Ragavan to accidentally mana screw us on our game where we mulliganed and missed our land drops.
What do you want to steal here? Like a Ren 6 or something?
Yeah, you want Ren 6 if you're Jesse. Anything you can play. But honestly, I think Jesse's really happy just to attack, get a Lotus Petal, and then move on with the deck. As we do see an Emery come down.
Oh, dudes. So, is there anything in the graveyard we can already recycle? I'm trying to I think nothing yet.
Yeah, and our match is at a little extra speed here, chat. If you're curious why the players are moving how they're moving this quickly, it is.
Oh, you're saying like they didn't cast like some spell on them, like while we're in the D&D theme, time stop or something like the opposite.
No time stop. No.
You know how it works, like in the theme of DMD flavor wise, how time stop actually works.
No, I don't. Hit me.
So when you cast it, like the time around you stops. But they explain it that way. Time doesn't actually stop because that would be crazy. Instead, you move so insanely fast that it seems like the world around you has come to a stop. But and actually, you are moving that fast. And that's how it's explained favor-wise. I always love that.
That is really cool. Yeah, Jesse is also just a fast player. So we're seeing here. And we just see a bolt on the Emery as we're going to see a Dash Ragavan again. And Eric had Fury in hand. So there was some amount of thinking about, okay, do I want to Fury and kill this Teferi, but instead decide to fight with the Emirates. We're just going to take Teferi up. We're going to get Thassa's Oracle. Look at
the value Oracle, sure.
Yeah.
Jesse coming up with game plans on the spot. Like, okay, sure. Like, this is what it's doing, right? This is what it was created for. Just some extra value.
Yeah, 1/3, it smooths your draw a little. It's pretty nice. And also, it's a really good way for her to not lose to her card. We see a Spell Pierce there, like Ragavan, right? Like, that's the way that maybe Eric gets back in this game, starts stacking Ragavan.
Good point.
Now
good
we got a
point.
1/3 on defense.
And Ragavan comes back down. 3 like, we already are halfway through Eric's life total at this point. Oh,
Yeah.
subtlety, though.
Oh,
and I guess
Jesse doing
we got our own value engine. We bounce our own Murphog and replay it while drawing a card with Teferi. Like, I guess that's something you do once you get like enough counters on it.
Oh, Jesse, she put the One Ring on bottom, I think. I saw it in the pile. Well, Jesse Robkin, known hater of the fans, as we do see a Fury Fat pitching Fury.
You know, we should have some special prize next time. Like, when there's like such a unique special card, we should have some prize for the first person to actually like resolve this card on stream.
Yeah, true.
We go, Jesse adding. I've seen this before. Okay, Fury took out Teferi here, and yeah, she's just gonna get in there while Eric is still thinking about it. Like, I guess it could be what is that? Dress down?
Oh, dress down, yeah. So we're going to prevent the haste on the Ragavan there, and it looks like Jesse's just going to develop a Teferi now. And she's tanking about this Thassa's Oracle here. She's going to just take it up for now.
You know, Thassa's Oracle can win games like in more ways than just one.
Yeah, Thassa's Oracle does it all. It slices, it dices, it checks the library. You see Ren 6 take up.
Okay, and at least now Eric is going to be set for the rest of the game, assuming that Ren 6 is going to stick it. Like, you can see it on Eric's side. Like, now he puts his card down, he hands up in the air. At least my mana troubles are hopefully going to be over for a while. But Jesse's probably not going to slow down. I could see another attack coming in here with Ragavan, right? Like, she doesn't really have much to worry about right now. It's not like Eric's deck can present a kill out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's something that like Jesse's probably very much aware of too. And Jesse has to have all spells in hand because she hasn't been playing lands. She just played her first land in a couple turns. It looks like we played Grinding Station to probably dashes Ragavan's what she's thinking about.
Yeah.
Looks like Unholy Heat.
Unholy Heat. And, well, no attacks. Oh, no attacks to okay. Yeah. Not run into a Dash Ragavan, I guess.
I feel like I missed something because we tapped all this mana, but we only played Station and Heat.
What's the extra mana for?
I don't know. Maybe Jesse's just being nice. She's like, hey, you missed a bunch of turns. I'll tap out.
I'll mana burn, sure.
Yeah, 12.
Here we go.
Whatever. Yeah. Jesse's hoping to lose Hidatsu's second right on stream. It would be an honorable way to die. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, deep in the tank right now.
Yeah, and Eric's hand, all spells. Another little secret from the booth.
Oh. The problem for Eric, though, is he probably wants to take out the Teferi if he's got like a bunch of counter spells in hand. But right now, we're just like playing main phase or 3/4 Southern Elephant, basically. And Jesse's card go back to the bottom of the library. And that's going to be a blocker for the angry Murphog. It's also going to block a potential Dash Ragavan. But I mean, if Jesse wants to, I guess you can just like go minus on the Teferi and Dash Ragavan in again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, Jesse just ate the treasure with the Grinding Station. That's a good sign that Jesse is really close to the win. And she was just like, okay, I'm gonna get my 3 extra cards so I can start breaching and have a little bit of extra spot here. We do see the unsummon on Endurance.
Yeah, what are we looking for? Like a Mox Amber or something? Something to
if we have Mox Amber and Breach, we should have the win. Because our Teferi is a legendary thing for the Mox to float mana. And then we can just, play another Teferi to unsummon the Oracle and win the game. So we're going to see a Dash Ragavan. Quaddle. Ooh, we can
even use that.
Quaddle's one of my favorite cards. It's so much fun. It's like Baleful Strix, we have to work for it.
It's fair.
Yeah.
So Jesse's just like trying to figure out, do I want this or do I have like better cards in hand? And yeah, she agrees. Also one of her favorite cards.
Yeah,
I was like, I want this. This was mine, my precious.
Yeah, and you're seeing here, Jesse. Okay, so Jesse played the bauble and responded to the untap trigger by tapping to the station and move. So now what Jesse's done is she's presented a loop. She is going to just play the bauble, untap the station, repeat mill 3. And she's going to do that over and over again until she finds a Mox Amber. As long as the Mox Amber isn't the last 3 cards in her deck, she will then unsummon this Oracle with another copy of Teferi Time Reveler, and then win the game. Also,
Easy.
she has Bolt in her deck. She can just Bolt out. There's the Mox Amber. Okay.
That's the Mox Amber. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen Jessie whiff on stream yet, but she got very close one time. Or it's like in her last 9 cards.
The one way that you already mentioned, I think, is like if it's only in the bottom cards, there any other way to properly to like really miss?
That's about it. Like at this point in the game, that's it. Earlier on in the game, you could like not have, because sometimes they'll start going for it and they don't have the full combo. They just have a bunch of cards in graveyard and they're looping Emeries, and then there's a way to lose. But besides that, it's pretty hard from this position. Jessie also knows that there's a fair time early. Yeah, with the endurance from before, she knew that the deck wasn't at the actual bottom. So, and she just has bolts.
By the way, chat is asking what is going on. Can you quickly, slowly go over how the combo actually works so everybody?
Yeah,
can
so really quick there, it was Grinding Station was being activated, which killed the Mox Amber where we floated a mana. It mills 3 cards. We exiled those 3 cards to Underworld Breach to replay the Amber. We floated a mana. And so we saw Jessie do there is she ended up bolting her Thassa's Oracle and then casting the Thassa's Oracle from the graveyard after it died. She could have also unsummoned it with Teferi. She could have flickered it. There's a lot of different ways for her to win from that spot, but that's essentially what she was doing. So we're going to be right back, but make sure to click that follow button if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any more. We have more Modern action coming to you here in just a few minutes. The round has started. That's right. Click that button right now. That way Julie and I get to eat tonight. That's what Norm said. We have to click the button, and we'll see you all here in just a couple minutes.